What's going on? It's day 6. I hope you have had an awesome end of your day 6. Almost got the full weekend, right? It's happening. And anyways, I'm doing this video because I've got a topic I want to drop with you. Before I do, let me recap where we're at. We went from desire, right? The desires we have to achieve the things that we want have to turn into goals. That's what we talked about, setting goals, clear goals, specific goals, goals with a time frame, right? And we've also talked about your reasons. You have to have strong reasons to keep you grounded and help you to stand when you feel like quitting, because we all are going to come to that place. We're all going to have some temptation to give up, whatever it is, but you have to lock into your reasons. And then we talked about discipline. Discipline's where it's at. Discipline is everything. Discipline is those steps of pursuing the new you that is required for your next level. It's how you become who your potential is, right? It's doing the work. And so now the rest of our time, we're talking about different areas of discipline. Yesterday, we talked about physical disciplines. It's these things that we do to take care of our bodies, right? We are in these bodies. They are the vehicles that are getting us to our destination, right? And so we got to take care of them. We want to make sure that we have the best vitality we can possibly have in order to achieve our goals, to have the energy to carry out the disciplines, right? All of those good things, to feel like it even. So that's the first area that we've covered in discipline. So now let's segue to a second one, one that's super important, and we'll just get right into it. It's emotional health. It's emotional health. It's not the way that you feel, but rather it's about how you perceive, right? It's what you are perceiving life to be. And this is so important. This is so important because really, let me give you a word in place of your emotional health. And it's your attitude. It's your attitude. It's what you, how you perceive the world to be and how you choose to respond to that world around you. One great mentor of mine said that your attitude determines your altitude. So in other words, how much, or rather how high your attitude is, how well your attitude is, determines how high or how much you will achieve in life. And I'll be honest with you, this is so true. This is so true because there are plenty of people that are talented, that have great skills. In theory, they should be qualified in life, but the problem is their attitude is so poor, it's so negative, and it's toxic. And what happens is those bad attitudes, they actually destroy teams, businesses, organizations, you name it. It destroys things because the attitude causes the crash of the momentum. But you see, we have to actually work on our attitude. We have to work on it. We have to posture ourselves to become better thinking, better perceiving, right? To be more positive. I'll be honest with you, just being more positive would improve our attitude so drastically. Because what happens is, again, another quote, wonderful quote. I love this. I live by this. If I misspeak it, just roll with me, right? But basically, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're right. Either way you're right. The point is, the way you think about life, your position in life, your circumstances in life, whatever the mental game that's going on in your life will greatly influence what you will accomplish versus what you will not accomplish. And I would submit to you that your attitude, your emotional health, these things, they're a direct result of the things that you consume and the people in whom you spend the most time with. And let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about what you're consuming. So we're on a 21-day challenge, right? And we're wanting to put good things into our body. It's nutrition, right? But here's a good question. What are you filling your mind with? You see, we all have, this is an interesting find or statistic or whatever, but it's said that we have I think it's the same thoughts. 90% of our thoughts are the same thoughts every day. We have a small percentage of thoughts that are new, that are different, and the rest of our thoughts are consistently the same, which talks and speaks a lot to the idea of having negative cycles, right? Having these things in our life these patterns that we repeat, right? And it's the new ideas that we focus on daily that begin to overtake the 90% that we have constantly. And again, those numbers could be off. I don't remember the exact, but just go with me on this, okay? The majority of your thoughts you continue to have, and it's until you take time to focus and shift those thoughts will you ever get out of the patterns that you're in. But you have to make changes into what you're consuming through media, through entertainment, through conversations, right? Through the people that you're around. And again, just think about it. Relate physical health to emotional health, right? If you consume junk food all the time, food that's loaded with toxicity, right? You're not going to have the most healthy physical health. This principle, it's true with your attitude. If you are consistently consuming negativity, if you're constantly subjecting yourself to vulgarity and just, I mean, you name it, all the things. Let me say it this way. Anything that you don't want to be or know that it's not in your best interest to be, if you simultaneously consume that content or take that in, guess what? You are becoming that content. Now that's the negative. Let's put it on the positive now. That's why it's so important to get into the Word of God every day. If you want to be more godly, be more pleasing, you have to consume the knowledge of not doing those things. That's why David would say, hey, I've hidden your word in my heart so that I might not sin against you. In other words, I've consumed it. It's inside me. It's going nowhere because now I can pull from it at any time and it will help keep me on the right path. See, that's what an attitude does. That's an attitude. An attitude keeps you on path. An attitude of gratefulness helps detour you from your anger, from your negativity, from your disappointments. Let me just say this, your attitude's going to help you through your disappointments. You're all going to have disappointments. I get disappointed constantly, but I also work on my attitude constantly, and I remind myself that, here's you a great example, these kind of thought patterns that help us to overcome these negative thoughts. For instance, so many times I had this perfectionism where if it wasn't perfect, if I didn't get it right, guess what? I would feel like a failure. I'd feel like, you know what, it's just pointless, it's over. And then all of a sudden I got this new idea. I heard a mentor talking about this. He said, in life, you're going to consistently have false starts. Now he's referring to a football game, so understand he understand the analogy. When you have a false start, that does not mean you've lost the game. Yes, there's a penalty, but you're still in the game and you still are positioned to win. Okay? The idea is, hey, don't have a false start. Don't have a penalty. But just because you did doesn't mean that you stopped the game. I mean, imagine if you were at an NFL game and all of a sudden your favorite team had a false start and they called the game and said, all right, everyone, the game's over. Your team, they had a false start. It's time to leave because the game is over. You would be outraged. You would be outraged. Why do we do that when we make a simple mistake? Why is it that we tell ourselves the narrative that we have to stop doing what we're doing because we didn't follow it all the way through? You see, some of you may have already, maybe you have not started in this journey. Maybe you've considered it and you kind of started it and now you've already kind of fallen off. Maybe that's where you're at. I need you to hear me on this. This is super important. Those are false starts. Those are not losses. You have not lost. It's a false start, and guess what? You get to get the ball back and you can continue to win. But until you make up your mind about these things and have an attitude of a winner, you're always going to be quick to find a way to get yourself out of the game. And I do believe that. I believe that because of the thoughts that we have, that we are so quick to dismiss ourselves and to find reasons to sabotage ourselves. We can never get to that next level, not because of a lack of desire. Oh, no, it's not this. It's our lack of emotional health. The tenacity to stick with it, even when you don't always get the result that you are looking for. Sticking to it long enough to get a result. I will tell you this, that's why I'm not about living your best life. I'm looking to do my better life, because every day I am getting better. Best is an idea that I don't know that I'll ever achieve, because I'm constantly getting better. I'm constantly doing the things that will help me produce better results. At least that's my hope. And the times that maybe I get off course, guess what? I know this. I can pick it back up and I can keep going. Why? Because my attitude helps me, informs me, points me in the direction. I can begin to remind myself of wins, things that I've done successfully that will keep me going. But you have to have an attitude of winning. Now, as I wrap this video up, let me give you a couple of ideas, just some things that you can do to work on your attitude, okay? Number one, cut out the noise. Cut out the noise. Cut out negative stuff. Cut out mindless stuff. The junk, I understand there's a lot of media choices, there's a lot of entertainment, and that's all fine and that's all dandy. But all I'm saying is those things, are you having a healthy diet of good things, positive things, or are you just on junk food all the time? Is it always entertainment? Is it always, oh, well, I only do funny stuff, or I only do action stuff? Right? No. You need some educational stuff. You need some motivational stuff. You need spiritual stuff. You've got to learn to feed your attitude, your mind, the things that it truly needs to respond to life appropriately. You are programming yourself to be able to navigate life. All right, so watch what you're putting into your mind, what you allow into your mind. Number two, I would tell you to start out with gratitude, right? I'll be honest with you, the practice of journaling is powerful. Journaling, writing down your day, but just a few ideas. I like to write down the successes of my day. I like to write down, hey, here's what I did that's successful, because when you have a rough day, you need to be able to find the wins in that day. All right, just a couple ideas like that. Gratitude list. Maybe start your day out with having a list of things that you're grateful for, writing them down. And again, I can't beg you enough to write things down, because it's going to change the way you think and implant those thoughts. But that's a few things to think about. I hope this found you well, and I guess we'll catch you tomorrow for day 7.